rapid and she's nifty. She'll do 150 on a windy day. A little Honda 50, hit the nitro and she'll shift me. Get me away from the Garda any day. I got her in the buy and sell back in 92. A travelling man in a caravan says this is the big for you. He was looking for 100, I gave him 32. Took her for a spin out the Kinnegad Road and begodgy feckin' flew. Oh, my little Honda 50, she's rapid and she's nifty. She'll do 150 on a windy day. My little Honda 50, hit the nitro and she'll shift me. Get me away from the Garda any day. I drove her into Newbridge, looking for a couple of parts. Alloy wheels and a sat-nav and a new push-button start. Heading out to Robertstown for the bingo and the beer. Coming down the hill of Allen, she hit the ton in second gear. I was riding across the Curragh, nice and slow. The guards pulled in behind me, Sergeant Kelly, don't you know? I said, oh, Buck, just me luck, I hit the nitro hard. By the time the squad hit Brockett's Cross, I had her parked in Brady's yard. Oh, my little Honda 50, she's rapid and she's nifty. She'll do 150 on a windy day. My little Honda 50, hit the nitro and she'll shift me. She'll get me away from the garden any day.
That's Christy Moore, of course. What are those levels like? Is this thing gone again?
That's fairly poor there.
That's pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, that's
pretty bad. You can feel it in my ear.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, let me just tell you that's Christy Moore, and that's a song called My Little 150. And I play that in response to a lady who writes to me called Lisa. She says, I'm your second biggest fan. My terrible sister Claire.
I was just talking to... Can you
hear me? Yes, I can
hear you. Can you hear me?
Can't you hear? Yeah, I can hear, but I don't want to hear you because I'm reading a letter. Can't you hear what I'm doing?
Yeah, no, I can't hear.
You can't hear me at all?
Well, yes, I can hear you just a tiny bit. You're very faint.
I know I'm faint. The whole thing's gone up like Swanee. I am your second biggest fan, says Lisa, after my terrible sister Claire. She emailed you yesterday about going on, how she failed to actually buy our parents Christy Moore tickets for their Christmas present. Christy Moore appearing at a certain date in Derry at the Millennium Forum. As a matter of fact, doing 2 dates. What she omitted in her pitiful tirade was that the present was from both of us. Yes, both of us. I had offered to get the tickets online, but no, she had it sorted. Well, as we all know, she failed. So may I just add that not only has her slip-up jeopardised our own facade, I too have been drawn into this disastrous affair, and will now face the fate of joining her as a daughter. Terrible, desperate times indeed. I just thought you should know the full story. I want to keep you informed, as you know. As I know you like to do a story in its full detail. Your actual true number one fan, Lisa Dwyer-Hogg. Thank you, Lisa, very much indeed. And I've just discovered that particular Christy Moore, who is doing a couple of concerts in Derry, Stoke, Londonderry at the Millennium Forum, is doing an extra one on June the 1st, and tickets go on sale this Thursday morning at the Millennium Forum at 9:30 a.m. So if I were you, I'd get online right away. See the way I'm helping the people? Mm-hmm. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Mother?
Well, it's all right. It's a bit
let's have a competition today.
Don't.
No, let's give away this.
No, it's my book. Don't you dare.
I've been reading it. It's great.
It's horrendous.
It's Dickie Rock's autobiography.
I want to give it away.
It says...
I'm giving it away in the wee show.
Oh, let me give it away.
No.
Go on.
No. It's got to do with show bands and you don't like show bands.
You're so strict.
No.
It says here, Always Me, it's called, is a most revealing insight ever into the man that triggered the women of Ireland to shout, "Spit on me, Dickie." You know right away this is going to be good, don't you, when you see that? Always Me tells the remarkable story of Dickie Rock's rise to fame from his first performance as a bar soprano with a local choir in Cabra West to playing the London Palladium and becoming a 60s sex symbol, blessed with a velvet voice that made the ladies swoon and the men envious.
I was never in this, you.
No.
Well, you were in the game. It's different for
I was
you.
not in the game.
Yeah, but it's different for you. I was never in this.
I never
no,
paid for it in my life.
No.
Stop that. Look, there's a photograph of him and everything. He's snarling. He's got the lip hanging to it. Oh, this is great. I'm going to read this. I only read a few pages of it. It's really good. We'll give it away when I read it. Or maybe you want to give it away in your show.
It's mine.
It's not. Nothing is yours. See, these things are sent into the BBC. You've got this thing about ownership. Now, I noticed you've got a big cabinet.
Yes,
I'm
you've
going to tell them. I'm going to tell them again.
The people know all
I'm going to
about
tell
that.
them again about this.
They know about it.
No, I'm going to tell them again about this because this is a side of you that they don't know. See, what happens is the people in the
It's
good...
for security.
Security my arse. It's because you don't want anyone else to have them. You see, this is a radio station. It's Catholic, with a small c, may I add. This is a democracy. All the music that comes in here is sent in by record companies and by people with the radio programme's interest at heart. So they send them in here. They don't belong to you. So we have many CDs. I leave all my CDs open on the desk. Anyone can have them because I say to myself, these belong to the people in Radio 4, the people who have the other programmes, but not you. You get a big strong room, a big metal thing, and you put all the things in there, and you have a big lock, and you have a big shutter, and as soon as you finish them, you go, it closes up.
Yes.
And then you take the keys home,
Yes.
and you put them in the bank, and nobody in the whole world knows what's in there. You're mean, and you're horrible, and you're nasty. I hope you don't mind me saying that.
No, it's quite all right. It's
Just came out of me. Sometimes badness must come out.
No,
or
it's
else
all right,
it'll
because-
fester
no.
inside.
I know how you feel because I almost lost it last night.
Lost what?
I almost.
Oh,
went
lost your temper.
I almost went over the edge last
tell me
night.
what happened.
I
I need to
so
hear this.
Close to it. No, first of all, I'm going to ask you this first.
Yes.
If you could abolish something from this earth now, I'm not talking anything serious. I'm not talking about war or child poverty. No, but you understand. I'm talking about.
I was going to say child poverty.
No, but you understand. Right. If you could abolish something, what would it be?
You.
I knew you would say that. You know.
No,
I
that
knew
means
you would say that.
I would say war.
No, forget about that. Forget about war and famine and all. No, we all want that.
We all want famine.
No,
Right.
what's the
No, we had
point?
enough of that here.
Right, come on.
I would abolish.
It won't be abolished.
Let me just think. Jeremy Clarkson, I think. No, really. Jeremy Clarkson. yeah.
No, let's not.
And all who sail in
Let's
her.
not do a person. Let's do a thing.
A thing. I would abolish. I think golf. Yeah, I know this hurts you. I think golf. Yeah, I think there's far too many people wasting their lives on it, and far too many people bored looking at it, and just their lives are ebbing away. That's what I think. I think it should be destroyed. Yeah, golf. Yeah, completely. And all the golf clubs in the world should be burnt to the ground, and everybody in them made to go out and work. It's a terrible thing to say.
You would abolish golf.
Yeah, you say, I know it's hard for you, but you asked me. Don't ask me if you don't like the answer, okay?
Is this you? Him?
Why did this start? What is the beginning?
Janice, what about traffic wardens?
No, I think they're just doing their jobs.
I would abolish.
You can tell that I'm under pressure.
Yes.
You can tell that.
I would abolish mobile phones.
Well, you see, they're useful things.
Yeah.
If you were in a car, right?
Mobile phones.
No, let me just say one
And
thing.
that's what caused me to.
let me just say one
I
thing.
almost flipped last night because of a mobile phone.
Well, here's something I want to put to you. Okay,
What?
you're driving home some night.
Right. Okay.
Okay, you've had a few jars. Of
No,
course,
you wouldn't be driving home if you had a few jars. You see, you'd be in a
you
taxi.
might if you're a bad boy.
No, you'd be in a taxi.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm driving home. I've got a few jars, right? And I fall asleep at the wheel. I'm going over the mountain,
Heaven forbid.
the Glenshane Pass. I'm not going too fast. My car careers over the side, over the shuch. Goes down the shuch, right? The car's upside down.
Yeah.
There's about 2 inches of water in the car. I can't get out. It's dark. Nobody can see me from the road. I could die.
Yeah.
What have I got in my pocket?
Rosary beads.
Yes, I take them out and pray to Jesus. But I've got another thing in my other pocket, which you know nothing about. It's a mobile phone. I ring the police or the ambulance. I say, I'm up the mountain in a shuch, dying. Please come and rescue me. 5 minutes later, they're there. There's your mobile phone. That's a handy thing. And you would abolish that?
Yes.
Why?
And you would die.
But if I hadn't, got it, I would die. Well, that's abolishing me. No, come on. You have a reason for this.
Yes, I was out walking last night.
Yes, how unusual. Yes.
And it was a good walking night last night, Jim.
It was good. It was mild, yes. I hear
night
people
for a
talking
walk.
about how good it was.
Yeah.
People out walking because it was mild. Yes, go ahead.
And I walked past this corner shop,
Yes.
and right on the corner of the street,
Yeah.
a young man parked his car.
Sorry, I'm just reading
And
this.
on double yellow lines.
I'm just reading
as
this.
well.
I'm
As
just-
well as on the corner on double yellow lines. And I looked in at him, as hoping he would look out for me to say to him, look where you're parked, understand. But what was he doing?
Look at it.
Sitting, footering with his mobile phone. That just sums the world up there. Look at that there, the ignorance there, that young man there, on a corner, on double yellow lines. And he was waiting on his mate. His mate was in the shop. And he couldn't even sit there. He couldn't sit and look around him. No, he had to reach for his mobile phone.
There's a lovely photograph of Dickie Rock with Maureen Potter.
And in my mind, I overturned that car. I threw it off the double yellow lines. I rolled it out into the middle of the road. And I pulled him out. And I took the mobile phone from him and threw it over a hedge.
There's a photograph of Dickie with his wife, and he says, I have been through everything together with her
Hate
over the last
mobile
40
phones.
years, and I hope we will have many more happy times to come.
I just can't understand it. People can't seem to. They can't go for a message. They can't go to the shop on an errand, but they must read their mobile phone or look at their mobile phone. If they're standing waiting to be served in the supermarket or they're walking around the supermarket looking at the shelves, they have to look at their mobile phone. What is this obsession with the mobile phone? What's going to happen from you leave your house, the time you get to the supermarket? What's going to happen in the world? It's going to be earth-shattering that you have to check your mobile phone.
Look, there's a photograph of Dickie with Jimmy Savile.
What's it all about? Why don't they wise up?
Look, there he is with Val Dunnigan. Look at that. He knows everybody.
It's like, that and chewing gum. That and chewing gum has to.
Kingdom?
Chewing
Chewing
gum.
I think you mean chewing gum.
Has to go.
Kingdom had to go. Kingdom had to go. I'll never forget the first time I played in Donegal. We dropped into a small hotel to get something to eat. Incredibly, my song was playing on the radio as we walked in.
Guys sitting in the bars.
It was so exciting to hear ourselves on the radio, and we looked at each other in disbelief. We'd been
Two
told
boys the other night sitting
We'd been
beside
told
one
that the
another.
song was going to be played by Radio Erin sometime that day. We didn't know exactly when. It was so coincidental that we happened to stop at the hotel at this particular time. I felt a huge surge of pride and immediately went looking for a payphone. I wanted to call my mother to find out if she'd heard me on the radio. I was delighted when she told me that she had. I still get that same thrill these days when I hear my music on the radio. When people like Ronan Collins play my songs, I always feel proud and thankful to be in the business that I'm in.
There are two pints in front of them.
Will you shut up,
Two
please?
mates. And they were both had the pints in front of them, and they were both checking.
Just stop that for a moment. Good morning, everyone. The program's just starting. What you heard before is a kind of a sound check. The number to ring if you want to contact this program about anything at all that you feel as if it's important. If you want to talk about Angelina Jolie's... Did you see Angelina Jolie's leg bomb?
I overheard.
Did you see her sticking out her leg?
I overheard the most boring conversation
Will you shut
the
up?
other
What's
night.
wrong with you?
And so much so that I wanted to tell the fella to shut up.
So everything's annoying you. Don't you realise what you sound like? You sound like an old curmudgeon.
No.
You sound like an old pensioner. You
think-
sound like a pensioner.
I was thinking of the fella that he was telling the story to. He was telling the story to his mate. And I knew his mate was bored out of his skull listening to him because his mate kept trying to change the conversation.
You have a lot of anger in you today.
And I was trying to watch. I was watching the TV. I was watching the golf, and this guy,
rest my case.
Rory was on the TV,
Rory, yeah, of
and
course.
this guy was telling his mate
And nearly number one.
about his conditions in work, and about what grade he was at, and if he was working Sunday, and how much overtime he was going to get at what rate, and he had this form to fill in, and he says, "Do you know one of the questions?" He says. And he repeated the question. The fella couldn't hear it. He says, "Do you know what I wrote down? Know what I wrote down?" And then he pretended to write this imaginary pen and this imaginary form on the bar. And he said, "Know what I wrote down? I wrote down, why don't you just go and..." And he's writing this all with an imaginary pen. And I'm sitting saying, "Listen, that boy's so boring, so he is." And his friend kept saying, he says, United have a tough match on Saturday. He wasn't listening to him at all. And he kept trying to change the conversation.
I love working with Miriam O'Callaghan. She's a complete professional.
Why don't you just shut up and leave your mate alone? He doesn't want to hear about your overtime or about your working conditions. Shut up! Give us all peace.
Miriam O'Callaghan is a complete professional, yet one of the most unpretentious, down-to-earth people you could ever meet. I admire all the success she's had on television and RTE, and it's hard to believe that she had to juggle her career with being a mother to 8 children. Miriam conducted all the interviews for my documentary in my apartment, and we had a great laugh together doing them. I remember while we were there one day, my phone rang and Miriam answered it saying, "Hello, Dickie Rock's personal assistant speaking." I laughed. She's a striking-looking woman as well. She's very tall.
I mean, imagine coming into a bar on a Saturday night with your mate and...
Janet, will you please stop him? I'll just play some music and maybe
Janet
that's
says there's a call.
okay.
It's about 2 kids.
Stop it.
They're sitting down.
Just don't stop saying you.
There's a call. Janet's got a call.
One of them is kind of a big fella. Another
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
It's Michael.
Hello, okay, hiya.
Michael, good morning. How are you?
You said Dennis, and that threw me a wee bit. Good morning to you.
Calm down, it's okay.
The reason I'm ringing you,
Yeah.
I was listening to your show yesterday,
Yes.
and I felt just pure loyalty alone. I had to step in and put a counterbalance that man's whole opinion of Bundoran.
In other words, put a stop to it.
No, well, not quite so.
Let me just remind the people.
I could feel his pain. His pain was palpable.
Let me stop you. Let me stop you for a moment. Let me just.
Go ahead.
Sometimes when we approach a subject we've tackled the day before, we have to explain to the people the subtext. Yesterday, a man rang in because someone had said, or there had been a poll which suggested that the Donegal accent is the sexiest accent in Ireland. And this man rang up to say that he didn't think so because when he was a child, he was traumatised by being in Bundoran, and thereby implying that any time he hears a Donegal accent, he cringes and goes into a kind of a fit, and he just can't stand it. So this is the background to this. What are you muttering about? What are you saying to her?
Oh, well.
No, not you,
am I back
Michael.
on again? Well, I think he was focused more on Bundoran than anything else. That's sort of the picture I got. And he could visibly, probably feel the man's pain. But what I wanted to bring to the world's notice, there is a gem in the centre of Bundoran, an absolute gem, and it should be checked out before it's too late. It's maybe a well-kept secret among a lot of people who appreciate this place. It's a little tiny bar, goes by the name of Brennan's.
Brennan's Bar.
It's the most nondescript building in the whole town. It's in the main street, and it's owned by 2 little old maiden spinster sisters of quite an indeterminate age. It is the cleanest. It's the cleanest bar you can imagine. You could eat your dinner off the floor. My sister, my wife and her sister just cracked on the white hanky test up along the picture reel, and it's spotless. There's things that work that their father put in 100 years ago. Those little bells that people would ring in the back room for a drink.
Oh, yes.
And like I say, when I said to your research yesterday, the country used to be coming down with these places. Nobody's
right.
building them anymore. They're disappearing. They're not coming back. But there's one. And honest to God, if you're passing through Bundoran and you've no intention to stop for that reason alone.
Just to have a look at
wee building.
Brennan's Bar.
Brennan's, it's you know the way Bundoran's all garish and flashing lights and indescribable things.
Yes.
This is the opposite.
Well,
but on the front of the bar, tell you what, it's the main street. If you were looking towards Sligo with Ballyshannon at your back, it would be on your left-hand side.
Okay.
And on the pavement, there's a slab that says bar, and it's so old it's cracked, but it's one of those old-fashioned things. And basically, it's a place that's so typical, it's a rarity. And
do you have to pee up against the wall?
It's indescribable. If you say you went in and you had a few drinks with your mates and you were feeling a wee bit boisterous, you'd just go on to your best manners on the spot. It's that type of place.
Do you have to pee up against the wall around the back when you go out? Or is there a real toilet? Do you have to pee up against the wall in the back when you go out, or is there a real toilet?
The toilets are not exactly ritzy. They're not as bad as that sounds.
You see, this is important.
They're not ritzy.
I think
but
it's
they're very well maintained, Gerry.
I think
and
it's
they don't smell J Street.
I think it's very important at old bars like that the toilets are not.
And the Guinness would burn your teeth. They're so cold. It's a delight of a place to be in. And if I ever am down there to grab a Sunday paper, because it's a traditional, there's a back room that looks like a room,
That looks like a room.
And you sit there, and the windows are the normal height, and you read the paper, have a pint, and watch people walk past, and that's just wonderful. And like I say, these things are becoming extinct.
Well, that's a ringing endorsement, and I have to say that anyone out there who's ever interested in Bundoran, I would say it would be inescapable.
You'll just fall in love with it. I also made a wee plug for the surfers. I have a friend down there that owns a parts here in a surf shop, and I don't think the locals realise the surfers are slowly taking the town over, which is not such a terrible thing at all.
Well, just to be
So,
another type of person used to take the town over a while back, so I think it's an improvement.
That's got to be interesting, if nothing else. But
But Bundoran used to be a kind of a bull toll, didn't it, for certain men who kind
Was
of
that?
flee from the law in the north. It used to be a long time ago, but that I think those days are over. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you about my godmother.
I didn't know you had one.
yes,
It's the first time you ever brought her into the conversation.
Well, I've never told you about her before. She's from Bundoran.
Is she?
Yes, indeed. She's a very wealthy
that's a
woman.
very bad line. Am I still on this line? Or
You are still
we
on this
done?
line. Don't worry about
Okay,
that.
sorry, beg your pardon.
You just be quiet there. I'm talking. My
You have a
godmother-
wealthy godmother.
Did you ever see Paige's Amusements in Bundoran?
No.
Well, she owned those, and her name was Bernie Page.
Well, where?
She was my godmother.
There's a big amusement arcade on the right hand side as you're driving into Bundoran. Is it on the right hand side?
Yeah, it's on the
You don't
right-hand
know.
side.
You don't know.
I
You're
do
making
know.
that
It's
up.
along-
You're making that up.
No, it's not on the main road. Do you know when you go along that coast walk? You go right along there, and there's big amusements there. I don't know if it's still there anymore.
It's not on the main street then.
I didn't say it was on the main street.
I
You
asked
By
said-
you.
Roogie Rock.
You said it was on the main street.
I asked you, was it on the main street? You said yes.
I never forget the first time I appeared with Miami. I always remember that I arrived on the planet the same day that Neil Armstrong and his crew returned to Earth following their historic moon landing. Every page you open of this is full of crap. It's great. Anyway, she was my godmother. She was lovely. She's passed away now. And she was beautiful. I used to call and see her every time I was passing through. I used to call and see her. We used to play in the Astoria in Bundoran. And every once in a while they have a filled-in depreciation day down there.
Where's the Astoria? Is that down near the bottom of the town on the way out?
Astoria-
No, you turn
Story
right
has
down
been
towards the
burnt
sea.
to the ground a few years ago.
Burnt to the
I
ground
know
a
that.
few years ago.
I know that. I know that.
So it's
I
nowhere.
used to go to the Astoria when it was there, okay? I don't have to give you the whole history.
Well,
of
where
this
was
place.
it?
On the right, down towards, what do you call that hotel down there? What do you call that hotel down the right-hand side? You turn off right down to a nice hotel.
No, the left.
Right.
It's on the right.
Right.
It's on the left.
As
The
you're-
big hotel is on the left.
There is another hotel down
not the
on the
Holyrood.
right. No, not the Holyrood.
No,
the Holyrood
that's the
is
one
on the
I'm
left.
thinking about.
It's not the Holyrood.
Is it the Great Southern?
Yes,
Well,
that's
it's-
on the right.
That's out in the coast. That's out
Yes,
Valley,
that's what I'm saying to you.
Yes.
That's where the Astoria was.
all the way
Jeez.
out there.
What do I have to do to make you people understand English?
But it wasn't on the main street.
No, you turn off the main street to the right.
You said it was on the right-hand side going in.
I'm sorry you have to listen to this. It's about communication. What were we saying there? Gentleman, what's this man's name? Where is he? Are you still there?
I'm still here, certainly.
What were we talking about? I have to stop this. What were
Well,
we
we talked on Brendan's bar. I think we covered that subject.
We
maybe.
exhausted that. Okay, well, listen, thank you very much for...
And well, that's a bit really. I could just say hello to my outlaws and my Gandhis because that's the people that introduced me to all that. And I could say hello to Pete, who owns a part of the surf shop called Surf Lodge.
Are you a surfer yourself?
And that was
Surf
really all.
Lodge.
And there's seaweed baths too, if that's of any interest to you.
The seaweed baths?
Seaweed baths and
Mm-hmm.
modern state-of-the-art seaweed baths. It's quite an experience.
You're starting to
I'd
ramble
recommend
now.
it, at least once.
Are you a surfer yourself?
No, I've given it a couple of lashes. My brother is a decent surfer. It's my youngest brother's best friend who owns a part share of that surf shop,
All right then,
and
okay.
that's my connection. So
That's okay, there's nothing
if I'm
wrong
in
with
the
that. There's
vicinity,
no-
I would usually pop in and see Pete and see what's going on.
That's no crime. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Okay,
Pleasure talking to you.
thank you. Thank you
Take
very
care.
much. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
There are many things I remember about that night. The opulent surroundings of the Hotel de Paris, performing in front of Prince Rainier and his family, but above all, the pure decency of Michael Smurfett will remain with me always.
I didn't write that.
He did.
You made that up.
I did not. Every page you open, it's something great like that, isn't it? The pure decency of the millionaire Michael Smurfett is unbelievable.
One of the richest men in Ireland.
You know, I was going to the hotel the other day. I met the most wonderful man I ever met in my life. And I walked up and I said, I think you're wonderful. And he said, I'm a big fan of yours. And I said, would you like a drink? And I said, yes. And the more I talked to him, I realised he was so down to earth. And just like an ordinary person. It's hard to believe he was married to the Queen.
God.
Oh,
How does it end? How does the book end?
Okay, I'll just write the last line. Let me see. I don't know what this is. Let me see. So I was thinking about all the good values that my parents had instilled in me throughout my childhood. I was remembering the absolute love and devotion they had for each other throughout their married life, and I found myself saying, well, Mum, well, Dad, I'm still here, still doing it. It's still working for me, you know.
That's good. The later for him.
It's still working for me too, I have to be honest with you.
I just about 2 kids.
I want to hear some other person talking rather than you. Here's one.
They're sitting down on a log. One of them is kind of a big fella, and the other one is a little bit smaller, and he's got a long bib cap. And they sit there pondering on what they're going to do for the night. And anything the big guy says on, the little guy's for, because he digs him. He's cool. So it's called Roosevelt and Ira Lee.
Roosevelt and Ira Lee. It's cute.
The river was dark and muddy, and the moon was on the rise. And all of the creatures in the swampland had woke up to feed for the night. Roosevelt and Ira Lee were sitting there on a log. Ira Lee turned to Roosevelt and said, I should like to have a Miss Bullfrog. He said, yeah, yeah. Lord, sure it tastes good. So they slipped on the rubber boots and walked down to the water's edge. And right away they knew that the night would be a bummer, 'cause Ira Lee stepped on a water mask and he said, oh, Lord, somebody help me. Ira Lee turned to Roosevelt when he quit his screaming and kicking. And he said, let's forget about them bullfrog legs and go out and steal us some chickens. No, Roosevelt said like this now. Yeah, yeah. Sure it tastes good. Yes, it would. I love my chicken. Oh, the river was dark and muddy.
On 92 to 95 FM,
and 1341 medium wave.
this is BBC Radio Ulster.
BBC News at 11 o'clock. I'm Anne-Marie Foster. 2 elderly men have been treated in hospital for minor injuries and shock after being attacked by masked men who broke into their home near Newry. The gang used iron bars to force their way into the house at Lurgan Cross at tea time last night. They ransacked the bedrooms, and when one of the men intervened, he was struck across the face. The Mayor of Newry, Charlie Casey, said it was the 3rd time the rural home had been targeted.
This time it was a particularly brutal assault. They came armed with iron bars, and they hit both men. They beat one of the dogs. They were dressed all in black, wearing balaclavas. 5 of them in the house. I ask you, 5 boys to tackle 2 people in their late 70s, early 80s, living alone. I mean, they were away this morning with those 2 men's pensions and left those 2 brothers very, very badly traumatised.
The former First Minister Ian Paisley has been discharged from the Ulster Hospital at Dundonald, where he was receiving treatment after suffering heart problems. Here's our political editor, Mark Devonport.
Ian Paisley was rushed to the Ulster Hospital 3 weeks ago after suffering suspected heart failure. The former DUP leader, who sits in the Lords as Lord Bandside, spent 10 days in the intensive care unit before his condition stabilised. This morning, Baroness Paisley said she was delighted to confirm her husband had returned home. The Baroness said she couldn't put into words her gratitude to all those who cared for the former First Minister. She also expressed her thanks to all those who had sent him good wishes and prayers. The Paisley family thanked the media for respecting their privacy and asked that the 85-year-old former First Minister should continue to be given time and space in order to fully recuperate.
The Dungannon offices of Lord Maurice Morrow have been broken into and ransacked. The DUP MLA says the kitchen area was flooded with floors and carpets destroyed. Several items were stolen, including a television. That was the news. Time for sport now with Gavin Andrews.
Former Ireland cricketer Owen Morgan today paid the price for a dismal tour of the United Arab Emirates with England. He's been dropped from the Test squad for the trip to Sri Lanka. Morgan averaged just under 14 against Pakistan in 3 tests in the Middle East and fared little better in the limited overs games in which he is regarded as a specialist. Rugby and Connacht look to have secured the services of former Scottish international Dan Parks for the next 2 seasons. The record point scorer in the Pro 12 recently retired from international rugby following the Six Nations loss to England after winning 67 caps. And Irish international Luke Fitzgerald could play for Leinster this weekend away to Ironi if he comes through a contact training session tomorrow.
Finally, the weather forecast with Cecilia Daly.
Eastern counties will be largely dry with occasional patches of blue sky showing through the cloud and fleeting moments of sunshine. However, in the west the cloud will be thicker and lower with some drizzle, although most of that will disappear this afternoon. Temperatures will reach 12 or 13 Celsius generally, but may just peak at 14 in the east. Mild and cloudy tonight with drizzle towards morning.
BBC News.
BBC Radio Ulster. Travel news.
The Frosses Road in Ballymoney has been reopened following an accident. Expect delays on the Upper Springfield Road as it's down to 1 lane. Structural damage is being repaired, so temporary traffic lights are in operation while the work is carried out for the next 3 weeks. Looking ahead to tonight, the M2 Sandyknoise Oslip will be closed approaching the roundabout as cameras are being installed. That's from 11 o'clock until 6 tomorrow morning. Kerry Martin reporting.
Travel news on BBC Radio Ulster.
On Talkback with Wendy Austin today, attacked and beaten up for their pensions. We hear how 2 elderly men were robbed in Newry. The big rates debate, should we just pay for what we get? If your neighbours have street lighting and kids at school and you just get your bin emptied, should they pay more? You can tell me. And Lisa Dorian, it's 7 years since she disappeared without trace. We'll talk to her sister Joanne. Also, is it the end of the road for girls' schools? Europe's biggest, St Louise's, is talking of taking boys. And after a week of Lent, how are you doing? Does Nutella on toast qualify as chocolate? We'll be asking that on Talkback at 12.
I'm not sure about that now. Good to see Wendy back on television last night. And also tonight, very interesting 2 programmes on tonight that I was talking to the producer and indeed one of the stars of a show called 6 Degrees. It's a youth drama. It's starting on BBC. I nearly said RT. Did you hear that? Nearly said RT. Yes. BBC 2 tonight. BBC 2 Northern Ireland tonight at 9:30, showing 2 episodes. 2 episodes of a new drama called 6 Degrees. And it really is very good. You should watch it. 9:30 tonight. 6 Degrees. Dickie Rock. I've heard all the stories down the years, right? Yeah. I've heard all the stories down the years when I'm portrayed as a penny-pinching miser. A couple of years ago, Murty Quinn, who was on the original Miami show band with me, was even slagging me off in an RTE documentary. He described me as shrewd, which is true to some extent, and I'd agree with him on that. But he also claimed that after the show, when the rest of the lads in the band would buy sweets, I'd buy an apple instead, because you can't share it. He was saying it in a light-hearted way, but it's the type of story that did the rounds about me. I'm completely unaware that people joke about me being mean. Even the comedian Still Fox, whom I play golf with, makes up stories about going over to Dickie Rock's house for a game of snooker, finding a lock on the fridge. It's funny, and I can laugh about it simply because it isn't true. My wife and children know I'm not mean, and so do my friends. That's all that matters to me. But I'm still bloody careful with my money.
Sure, he asked me for the £2 that I owed him.
I know he did.
After a year.
Remember he fought over 30p?
That's right.
Remember?
For snooker, yeah.
Snooker. There was 30p was sitting on the side of the snooker table and he lifted it. Yes. It wasn't his and he fought about it. Right. That's how you get money.
Well, she told me a sad story. Put my suitcase in my hand. Funny how sometimes things just don't go as planned. And I bet you may be wondering if I'm sorry, well, I'm not.
You haven't even crossed my mind since I kicked the spot. And I'm sure you heard the stories. Say I'm drinking in the street. Say I'm bitter and I'm cursing over, babe, that ain't me. Yeah, I hope that you find happiness. Hope you fall in love. Hope that you get everything head's been thinking of. And when it all works out for you and all your dreams come true, just one little thing, honey, I really hope for you. I hope you miss me. Well, I hope you miss me like I miss you. I hope you miss me. Yeah, I hope you miss me like I miss you. Why would you leave me? Yeah, I couldn't wait to go. You were always crying, and all you ever said was no. Make no mistake about it, I'm as happy as can be. You got your life, I got my life, and there ain't no in-betweens. Yeah, I hope that you find happiness. Hope you fall in love. Hope that you get everything head's been thinking of. And when it all works out for you and all your dreams come true, just one little thing, honey, I really hope for you. I hope you miss me. I hope you miss me like I miss you. I hope you miss me. I hope you miss me like I miss you. Oh, yeah, you and I won't ever know. Oh no, the feeling of a lasting love. The way I felt to hold your hand for 40, 50 years of playing. Every dream it has to stay. How it all just love and slip away. I hope you miss me. I hope you miss me like I miss you. I hope you miss me. I hope you miss me like I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. A man once said that the pinnacle of success was when you finally lost interest in money, compliments, and publicity. A noble enough idea, I suppose. How on earth it does this, heaven only knows. I know I need a lot more of all three of those before I ever had the nerve to turn up my nose at any money. A compliment, some publicity. I'm broke as the 10 Commandments. Sometimes I'm harder to follow. I don't know whether to walk to school or take my lunch. Shit, I wind my watch, it's true. You may think you see a man who is looking for attention, but you're looking at a man who has lived through a little bit of poverty, some anxiety, some scrutiny. You know, if I ever do get my money together, I'm gonna take care of all of my friends. I'll buy an island, run a phone line, call and tell them all to get fucked. Oh, that ought to take care of them, just be me and my money.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry about that. Oh, I apologise for that entirely. I didn't listen to that entire record. And it's Todd Snyder, who appeared at the Nashville Festival last weekend. What a naughty boy. I'm terribly sorry about that. I know that upset you, Sean.
Yeah.
Janet, will you get a damp cloth, please? Get Sean there. Hose him down for a second. Sorry about that. I apologise.
There should be some sort of warning on that CD.
Well, I listened to it before, but I didn't actually hear that. I must have been not listening. Anyway, not to worry. A gentleman writes to me and he says, I need your help with a psychological theory I have been wrestling with. Mr. Coyle may be of some assistance. Have you ever noticed that when you get a new car, you start to see other cars the same as it within a few days? Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Have you ever got a car maybe perhaps you hadn't thought about before, and then suddenly when you get it, everybody's driving one? Have you noticed that?
No, not a car.
Well, what then?
What do you mean? No, I mean when you
change... When I say a new car, I mean a new car.
Yeah, but what do you mean by... You mean...
For instance, right, okay. You decide to get
you go to a different model.
No, you say, okay, you say to yourself, well, maybe just for the sake of argument, a deux chevaux, or a Citroën 3, or a Citroën 4. You decide to get something you never got before. I'd say, well, that's a nice car, I'll get that. And then as soon as you get it, every dog's arse is driving one.
And what?
Because you notice it. I'm just wondering, it's a psychological thing. You have never noticed them before, but as sure as eggs, they will appear. And should you change your car again within a few days, you will once again see similar cars. I've transferred this theory to something started on your show, the Darren Clark syndrome. Mr. Coyle did an impression of Darren Clark, raising his voice in a slight inflection at the end of every sentence. And now the new car syndrome, I noticed loads of people doing it. Darren Clark said, just a bunch of killjoys. I'll try that again. Just a bunch of killjoys. Try that. Is that right?
Yeah, just about a killjoys.
No,
killjoys.
killjoys.
No, killjoys.
No,
killjoys.
Just a bunch of
No, he would say
killjoys.
killjoys.
Not killjoys.
He won't say killjoys. Just a bunch of killjoys.
What do you think?
Well,
You go for the end. No, you're going down a bit.
He does. He just goes down. I would have meant
You really should be number one.
Let's get this. Well, like a paint, like a paint and a smoke, just like one of the boys.
That's it.
I'm just like one of the boys.
I know.
I like a paint and I like a smoke. I'm on the open.
No different. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Michelle writes to me and she says, this morning I wasn't really watching BBC Breakfast, but it was on. I wasn't really listening to it either. But my ears pricked up when I heard a woman in the middle of a conversation saying, that's a whole different kettle of ball games. The old mixed metaphor.
There's a wee call for you.
You're driving listeners away. A man says he's leaving the programme. And he said he's going to watch it, listen to it on iPlayer. Because he can't stand your rants.
I had to get that off my chest.
You have to be careful about that. You're putting the listeners off.
No, I have to speak for the people.
Just be me that put the listeners
no,
off.
I have to speak for the people.
People don't
we
care.
We need law and order.
It just be me that people hate it. Now they're starting to hate you as well. Yeah. I'm telling you.
Well, I'll become like the rest of it. I'll park in WL lines and in corners. And
that's what I do.
Yeah,
become
is
like
something
me.
You want?
A free spirit. Yeah. Be a free spirit like me. Ha 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 ha. To hell. Publish and be damned. Park and to hell with it, I say. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? I wonder who this is.
Gerry, this is Mervyn from coming down here to Shargan, and I was out walking on Sunday morning, and I found frog spawn. And I remember a couple of years ago you had somebody on from some sort of conversation crowd, and they were wanting to find out about frog spawn.
Indeed, we have a regular discussion group on frog spawn at the last Thursday of every month. Yes, go ahead. And what was your immediate reaction upon spotting this frog spawn?
I was surprised to see it at this time of the year.
Well, when
I thought it was quite early.
When do you expect to see frog spawn? These are some of the things that we have to tackle in this programme. If you ask me when would I expect to see frog spawn, I wouldn't know what to say.
Yes.
I really wouldn't know what to say. So when does a person expect to see frog spawn?
I would have thought near Easter. I thought Jordy would have.
Okay. So it's early for it?
Yes. I wonder what sort of water.
What do you think we should do about it? What should be done?
Well, we found frog spawn 2 weeks ago on the golf course.
Right.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks ago. So, I didn't think it was a seasonal thing. I thought frogs just, there's a wee bit of damp ground, let's have
a look for some frog spawn. There's some over there.
There's a nice wee pond there. Jump in there.
Okay, well, let's maybe perhaps we could maybe talk to Jordy about that, and maybe he'll give us some kind of an indication of why this frog spawn is there so early in nature's cycle. Okay, sir.
Okay,
thank you indeed. Thank you.
There's another call for
you. That man thought he was talking to someone who cared. He made a vital mistake. Hello, good morning. I don't care about frog spawn. Yes, good morning. How are you?
Is it my turn, Gerry?
It is your turn indeed to do whatever you wish, and you speak about whatever you wish to speak
with. Good morning,
with.
Gerry.
Yes?
Yeah, some years ago, when I was a slip of a lad and you were, well, more masculine than we are now, yeah?
Thanks.
Testosterone filled. I rang you about Dickie Rock.
Yes?
And at that time, I was with a lovely lady. We have since split up, unfortunately.
That's the way it
We
goes.
had a lovely day in Temple Bar.
Uh-huh.
And Dickie Rock passed us with glistening hair.
Yeah.
And that day you traumatized me because you revealed to me that it was a topper. It was a sporter.
Well, I'm afraid
He
that
wears a wig.
Dickie makes no secret of the fact that he's got an Irish cheek.
Right. But does he mention it in the book, Gerry?
I do believe he does, but I haven't found that wig section yet. I'm looking for it. I'm just looking the index.
Aye.
Hair
What
pieces.
sort of? I mean, I'm only 51. When did he start wearing the wig?
He wore it very early. The
Yeah?
first time I ever saw him wearing it, actually, he may have been wearing a little piece before.
Yeah.
I would say he first began to wear the old Irish jig around approximately 1967, I'd say.
Right.
Maybe perhaps sometime between 65 and 70. The first.
Oh, I was only a kid then.
That's right. The first rug was pulled on about then, I would say. Roughly, because I remember seeing him taking off a rug, and that was 1972.
Yeah,
And he
but-
was well used to it then.
Can you tell me, like the match in it, did people realize he was wearing a wig?
Of course they did.
I mean, have you ever worn a wig?
I have never worn a wig.
Well, your lustrous hair, you hardly need one, right enough.
No, but let me explain the psychology.
Yeah.
See, what happens is that a person, maybe perhaps like myself,
Yeah.
let's say that I was vain enough to want a wig, which I'm not.
Yeah.
I'd think about it very strongly, and I would reach a point whereby I really needed to have one.
Yeah.
Then I would talk to people who are perhaps in the same position as myself. I would find maybe perhaps someone who is wearing a wig and have an intimate conversation with him, or indeed her, and I would find out where indeed his wig was purchased. Then I'd make discreet inquiries. Then I would go to the wig maker, whatever it was, maybe it was Derry in Belfast or maybe Dublin, whatever it is, discreetly in the back door, if I was a well-known person. And then I would experiment with it, and I would wear it maybe once or twice, and then I would notice that nobody said anything.
Yeah.
So then I would think to myself, nobody notices it. So then I wear it all the time. And then nobody ever says anything about it, so I keep wearing it all the time, and then I forget that I'm wearing it. And then I forget to do the little things that you have to do. Now, for instance, see when you're wearing a really bad wig, at the bottom, you know, behind at the back, it sticks out horizontally. So you have to remember to smooth that down. But if you wear it a long time and nobody ever mentions it, you think that nobody notices it. So you think you're getting away with it. Whereas in actual fact, people aren't mentioning it because nobody has ever said to another guy, "Is that a wig you're wearing?" Nobody has ever said that. So it's kind of a conspiracy of silence. And it suits everybody. The person who notices that the person is wearing a wig does not have the embarrassment of asking, does he wear a wig? And the person who's wearing a wig is happy because nobody has said that he's wearing a wig. Therefore, they don't notice it. Therefore, everything's hunky-dory and good. That's the psychology behind wig wearing.
It's basically the elephant in the room, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Now,
No, the time of that conversation, I think it was about 96, you more or less said that was the only taboo in our, well, it was a divided society then that, you know, people were walking around thinking, you know, no one notices I have a wig or a syrup or whatever it's called. And it's not mentioned,
I'm doing a TV program at the moment about hair transplants.
Yeah, you were saying, yeah.
You know about this, Sean, don't you?
No, I heard you one day. You have some, like, ultra-modern device, haven't you? It zaps your head.
Stop it.
No, you revealed it one day.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, sorry, Gerry.
It's a secret device. It's like the atom bomb.
Yeah.
I don't want too many people to know about it. They'll all be after it.
Okay.
Well, you see, what I'm doing is, I'm very curious about this, so I embarked upon an investigation into all these hair products and different ways people get hair. And there are ways to get hair, and there are ways not to get hair, and there are ways to look as if you have hair, and there are ways to make people think you have hair.
Yeah.
The best one, I don't want to give away too much. So I'm actually investigating this, and I'm saying to myself, now, if I find a good way of getting a hair transplant, I'll have one. That's what I'm saying to myself, but I can't tell you what happens at the end of it.
Will Jimmy Nesbitt be on it?
I think so. And
He's a good one.
Also, it was very, very interesting, and there was one particular... No, I can't really tell you anything because I don't want to give any of it away. I'm dying to talk about this, but I can't really talk about it because I'm giving away the story. So I can't tell you what I did at the end of it, but it's not over yet.
Oh.
You see, Mr. Collier's looking at me now, and he's saying to himself, remember you noticed how good looking I was getting the other day? Could this be because that there's something different about me? Could it be because there's something about me that you haven't really noticed? Could it be that there's some change in me that is so subtle and so, well, not noticeable that one notices that I'm looking better? Could it be, Sean, that I have already had something done that you know nothing about. Could this be? Janet, could this be? That I have had something
Janet
done?
says, what are you talking about?
Well, if you had been listening, you would know. I'm talking to him about hair transplant.
Janet was filling in her timesheet.
Well, no newspaper? No Sunday Sun? No, look at me, Sean.
I'm looking
Janet,
at you.
look at me.
Well, we're
Is
both
it possible that I have had something done so subtle that...
No.
No, but you said yesterday there was something about me. You thought it was a tan, but it wasn't. You thought I was wearing false tan.
She said you were.
No, but I wasn't, you see. Here's the point. But the thing what I think happened is I think you're looking at me and you notice an improvement in me, but you can't put your finger on it. You don't know what it is. So you think it's tan, but it's not that. It may be something else entirely different. I may have had something done.
The front of your head looks thicker. Now that I'm looking at your
Here,
scalp.
Jerry, one time I was in Cornmarket and a comic hero of mine.
You've more hair.
The worst wig in show
Excuse me,
business.
it's a man talking here?
Sorry.
Frankie Hard.
Frankie Hard, yes. He had a very bad wig.
Very bad wig.
Oh, incredibly bad.
And another man with a bad topper is Tony Bennett.
A very bad
no,
one.
it's
Awful wig.
Tony
Awful
has
wig.
improved.
I have to tell
Tony
you one...
Curtis was bad.
Yeah.
He was bad. Now, I'll tell you the worst of all.
Gary Glitter.
Gary Glitter had a terrible wig, yeah. A terrible wig. As a matter of fact, I told you that story about Gary Glitter before.
No.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
About the time when, you know,
No, we
a lot of people didn't like me telling the story.
But I want to talk more about your hair.
No, I want to tell this story
No, I want
first.
to talk about your hair.
I'll talk about my hair in a moment.
No,
See,
it's not falling apart. The way it, no, you don't. You had a big seam.
Curtains.
What?
Curtains.
Janice said it used to be like. Janice said your hair used to be like a pair of curtains.
So what do you think? What are you trying to say?
Well, they've been pulled together. Someone, they're now like Venetian blinds. There's something. The top of your head is different, and I want a closer look. Put your head down first.
No, I'm not putting my head down.
Put your head down so we can see.
What am I, some kind of ostrich?
Go on.
Get away.
Go on.
If you want to look at me, you'll have to climb up and look from the top.
There's something different about you.
There is. That's what I'm saying. You see, you don't know what it is.
Yes.
You don't know what it is.
Jerry, you're akin to a man. Many years ago, I worked for the DOE.
Yes.
And there was a man had similar to her to you, and his nickname was Billy Two Rivers. Because
I know Billy Two Rivers.
Anyway, I'll leave it to your imagination.
That's gone over
Good
my
luck,
head.
Jerry.
That's
God bless
okay.
you and all who's sailing your ship.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. You see,
Billy Two Rivers, what is it?
there's more to this world than you can see with your ordinary sight. You have to look beyond what's going on, you see. Now, one of the things that I think is important is that it's all about psychology. And you see, sometimes your eyes deceive you. Now, for instance, yesterday, Janet thought that I had some fake tan on.
Yes.
And the reason why she thought I had some fake tan on because I looked exceptionally well. Now, she may not have noticed that the thing that was making me exceptionally well was not the thing that she noticed. But she said, why is he looking so well? Oh, he must have some tan on. But he hadn't got any tan on at all. It was something else. And you don't know what it is. I'm not going to show you. And I'm not going to tell you. The best thing I ever saw, and I can say this one little thing. We were in New York one time doing a bit of filming. And I talked to the fella who made Frank Sinatra's wigs. He travelled around with Frank Sinatra and he was his wig carer. That's what he called himself, a wig carer. And he brought around all the wigs, different wigs. And he had in a glass case all Frank Sinatra's wigs. And I saw them all. And they looked like 8 badgers. And they just got progressively grey. They looked like little small woodland animals just sitting there. And the last one was really, really grey. And that's the last one he wore before he died. And I said, why don't you just get the one and just stick grey hairs on it? He said, no, you can't do that.
Have you waxed your eyebrows?
I have not waxed my eyebrows at all, no. Nor have I applied any condiments or indeed life-enhancing chemicals upon my face or indeed lotions of any, efficacious nature. I've not done any of that. You see, you're looking at me and you just see the old Gerry, but I'm just like coming out of the chrysalis. I'm like a butterfly becoming a moth.
I remember. Do you remember the time I had
Sorry, becoming a caterpillar.
Do you remember the time I had the
You know the way
beard?
butterflies become moths?
Yes.
Do you know the way do you know the way a caterpillar turns into a butterfly?
Yes.
I'm a butterfly turning into a caterpillar. I'm going the other way.
Do you remember
It's
the
not
time
over
I
yet,
had
you
the
know.
beard?
It's not over yet.
I had a beard for 18 years.
I know, I remember you.
Do you remember that?
You're like a hunger striker.
And I shaved it off.
Yes, that let you out of jail.
And I went down, and I went down the following day down to see my mother.
Yes.
And I was sitting in the house, and she was sitting opposite me, and we were chatting away, and just looking away at me. And I could see her looking away at me, and she knew, 18 years with a beard, and I'm sitting chatting.
She probably
away.
thought you were the insurance man.
And she's looking away at me, and she's looking away at me, and it's just, "Och, you've got new teeth."
Yeah, because that's, people don't realise how you see, Hollywood have known this for many, many, many years, that people's perception is a strange thing. I mean, you can do something to somebody and it will look completely different to somebody else. I mean, if you fiddle about with somebody's hair, they think you've got a new chin because you look different and they look at the wrong thing. It's almost like a magician. You know the magician, he gets a bit of a scarf and he flashes it up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at that. But in actual fact, he's doing something with a dove. He's putting a dove in his pocket or something with the other hand. You're not looking at the other hand. You're looking at the flashy hand that's going on up there.
How did he separate the three iron rings?
There's no answer to that, really. I don't think. Is there? No, there's not.
And my compliments and my publicity singing with me.
I just put that same record on again. My God.
He would hand you the three rings and you try and pull them apart. And you kept jingling them and you could never separate the rings. Then you handed them back to the magician and he just went, click, click. There you are, done.
That's the way it goes. That's
How did they do that?
I really don't know. I don't know how they did it. But I wouldn't concern myself about it, Sean, because it's something that we don't talk about on this programme. I'm trying to play a record here. And it won't
David Hamilton?
What about him?
Bad Irish.
Oh, he had a terrible wig.
Terrible wig,
Oh,
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, that's from Pat and Banker.
Yeah, hold on a minute. I'm going to take this record out and throw it away.
That's
because if I keep that in there, I'm going to play that song again with a bad word in it. Because I can't help it. Because sometimes I put on the wrong thing, you see. And it's very difficult. And what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to play a record that a person doesn't say F in it. It's very difficult. I'm looking for one that doesn't do that. Here's one, maybe. Yeah. Hey. Hey. It's Blossom Dearie. A song called Fred Astaire. Have you ever heard this before?
I don't think so.
It's wonderful. She's got a lovely little voice.
There's only one person I know who seems to dance on air. You won't be surprised when I say his name is Fred Astaire. Savoir-faire, debonair, singing, dancing, Fred Astaire. There's nobody else who can emulate that special flair. Why, even the way that he walks, you'd know him anywhere. I declare he's quite rare, extra special, Fred Astaire. White tie, top hat, cane and tails, dancing, singing, he just wails. There's nobody else in this world who's quite like Fred Astaire. He even looks good when you see him dancing with a chair. Oh, those feet, what a pair. Singing, dancing, Fred Astaire. Yeah, Fred Astaire. Yeah, Fred
That's Blossom Dearie. Did you ever hear Blossom Dearie?
You're ready.
Blossom Dearie? Caught you.
Yes, you did.
This is why Sean and yourself should persist with your alleged career-long tradition of shunning each other's social company, and certainly must never go out drinking together or passing any of Christmas in either of each other's homes. I think you've just fine been separated by a thick pane of glass and several yards of cable. Keep up the good work, or whatever it is you do. Listen, the time has come for me to play Oh Superman.
No, what about the wee call?
Yes, I will take this call, but I just have to explain to the listeners that every 6 months I play Oh Superman by Laurie Anderson. No relation. It's a wonderful record, and I get many requests for it, but it infuriates many people who listen to this programme, so I'm just warning them. I'm going to play it now in a moment. One person rang me one time and said when I played it, they thought he had a flat tyre.
That's right.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning, how are you?
Hello.
Yes, hello?
Could you ask the listeners, do they know anybody could recondition a torque converter?
Let's start at the beginning. Who are you? Who are you?
Pat Quinn.
Yes, and where do you live, Mr. Quinn?
Jonesboro.
Jonesboro. Near Newry, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yes, so tell us what we can do for you.
I want to know if there's anybody who could recondition a torque converter. It's a part of an automatic car.
Mm-hmm. What did he say, Sean?
Recondition a torque
converter. I thought it was turf converter there for a minute.
Is the Sunday market still on in Jonesboro, Mr. Quinn?
Yeah.
It's as popular as ever, is it?
Is it as popular as ever? The Sunday market.
Same as ever, yeah.
That's good.
Same as ever,
That's
but
good.
not
That's
necessarily
good.
as popular as
No,
ever, but the same as ever.
Yeah.
So this is a torque. What's that again?
Converter.
A torque converter.
What's that, Pat?
It's part of an automatic car.
Yes.
And I want someone that can recondition it to bring it back to life. The torque converter is lazy and it needs to be brought back to its former glory.
I think you'll need battery for that. As a lazy torque converter. Okay, well, I see.
Do you remember you used to have a lazy starter? Do you remember that, Pat?
Yeah.
Did you have a lazy starter in the car?
Yeah. Oh, it's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah, the starter's all right, but it was a problem.
The starter's all right.
Yeah, but it used to be a common complaint.
Popular complaint.
I was going to say popular.
I know, a common complaint, a lazy starter. But see, all those days are gone. Do you remember you go into a garage and a fella would bring out a screwdriver and a spanner? When was the last time you seen a man with a spanner? Then they put them on a machine now and they put an element in. It's no good. There's no man with grease or anything.
Cars have brains.
Men don't wipe
now.
their hands
brains.
now. They've brains, yeah. You don't see a man with an oily rag now. Do you ever see a man with an oily rag and a spanner?
No.
Oh, putting on his glasses. Getting the spanner, go down and
Did you try eBay, Pat? We're getting called. Did you try eBay?
No.
Well, there are calls coming in saying, did you try eBay?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could have nearly figured that out yourself.
No, but sure, how would you get a man on eBay?
I haven't got a computer.
You don't have a
You
computer.
wouldn't get a man.
Do you have anyone that you know that would be able to get on eBay for you?
What's the point of going on eBay?
The point of going on eBay
some
is...
of the listeners might know someone that specialises in automatic gearbox. But it's a torque converter. It's part of the automatic system.
It's part of the automatic system. It's a
yeah,
torque...
for the automatic gearbox, but it's a torque converter.
Yes, a torque converter. Okay, we'll ask the people out there. We've got that message across. So anyone who's got that or can help you...
I want it reconditioned.
Reconditioned. A reconditioned torque converter. Okay, anyone who can help this gentleman, give us a ring here at 08459 555 678 and we'll pass the message on to him and you can talk to him yourself. There we are.
Thank you.
Not at all. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, son.
He was very... Son. He called me son. He not reminded me of my father.
Did you ever get your
engine...
didn't
know my name.
Did you ever get your engine rebored?
I'm afraid I've never had that pleasure.
No, men used to get that done quite often.
Mm-hmm.
Get the reboard.
And did you ever have your rods fixed?
I don't think so.
Remember you talk about people
rods?
should talk about straightening your rods.
No,
steering rods.
What's a steering rod?
Apparently, people used to look at... people used to always look at my tyres and go, Jesus, boys, you're in bother there. And I go, what's wrong? She said, she's worn down the one side.
Aye.
And I'd say, she's worn down the one side. I said, she's worn down the one side. It's your rods.
Your rods?
Your rods. You need your rods straightened. So I would say, straightened what? Get your rods straightened. Because it's your thumb there, your thumb. And I would hear all this talk. And then I would say to some guy, I said, do you know what a rod is? And I said, I need mine straightened, apparently. I said, well, leave it. I'm looking all straighten your rods for you look at your thumb. And they'd do that. And then they'd give us £30.
I had a man who once told me...
You never knew what they did.
A man once told me to keep my nipples well greased.
That was
Otherwise the front wheel would fall off the Morris Minor.
Sounds like my weekend. Can't really think why that would be important. I thought you were talking about running. Sure, John Bennett told me that. He said you have to grease your nipples or else it'll rub against your shirt. When you're running your marathon there. No, your actual marathon there.
Just this big long song.
There's that puncture.
Janet
again.
hates this song, she says.
I know she does. I see her taking off her microphone. So what?
Mom and Dad.
I play this every 6 months to restore my sanity.
Oh, Superman. Oh, John. Oh, Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad. Hi. I'm not home right now, but if you want to leave a message, just start talking at the sound of the tone. Hello? This is your mother. Are you there? Are you coming home? Hello? Is anybody home? Well, you don't know me, but I know you, and I've got a message to give to you. Here come the plane. So you better get ready, ready to go. You can come as you are, but pay as you go. Pay as you go. And I said, okay, who is this really? And the voice said, this is the hand that takes. This is the hand that takes. This is the hand that takes. Here come the planes. They're American planes, made in America. Smoking or non-smoking? And the voice said, neither snow nor rain, nor blue night shall stay these couriers from the swift completion of they're pointed round. Cause when love is gone, there's always justice. And when justice is gone, there's always force. And when force is gone, there's always mom. Hi, mom. So hold me, mom, in your long arms. So hold me, mom, in your long arms. In your automatic arm. Your electronic arms. In your arms. So hold me, mama, in your long arms. Your petrochemical arms. Your military arms. In your electronic arms.
I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, though life would still go on, believe me, the world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. And God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, though life would still go on, believe me, the world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. 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 God only knows.
Oh, it's the Beach Boys. That's a God Only Knows a cappella. And before that, of course, Laurie Anderson, Oh Superman. Any complaints, Shane?
Would you give details of your Superman song?
Oh,
George, the lorry driver, said it was very soothing as he's driving, I think, from Oma to Letterkenny or wherever. And he said really soothing. They loved it.
Or indeed, as the case may be, driving from Letterkenny to Oma,
It could
vice
be
versa.
driving- Well, why?
It's too bad. You know, you're driving from the Republic of Ireland, the grey
Why
skies,
can't, why
to the
can't,
blue
you,
skies
why
of
can't you
Ulster.
be driving from Oma to Letterkenny?
No, because you're driving from the blue skies of Ulster to the grey skies of the Irish Republic. Whereas if you're driving from the grey skies of the Irish Republic to the blue skies of Northern Ireland, it's much more cheerful.
Would you play Rod Stewart singing Sailing for Maureen and Paul and the family? And this is from Patricia, please.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Why not?
Just because I don't want to. That song was called Oh Superman for Massonet. It's from an album by Laurie Anderson. Did I tell you about the time I went to see Laurie Anderson? She let me in for nothing because I was her son. No, I went to see her. She was great. Big Science, the album is called. Laurie Anderson.
Big Science?
Big Science, yes. Yes, that's what it's called. Yeah. You seem surprised.
No, because you said Big Science. And I said, is he saying Big Signs? Or was he saying Big Science? Big Signs. I couldn't get it.
I have to speak the way I have to. I'm going to say that now. It's Big Science, okay? Laurie Anderson, and that's a track called Oh Superman for Massonet. Here's a job for you.
A mixed bag, the reaction to that
That's
last
all right.
song.
I expect
Mixed
nothing.
bag, it's all in front of you.
I expect nothing complimentary. Here's a job for you. A gentleman wants you to wish his father, Ian Cameron, a happy birthday in the voice of Alan Hansen.
Oh, Alan.
We listen all the time. Alan Hansen's getting very old looking.
Oh, Hansen.
I'd just like to wish Ian Cameron a very happy birthday. He's got passion, he's got determination, he plays for the shirt. You know, he's a great lad, and I'd just like to wish him a very happy birthday.
It's from his daughter Sheriff in Ballymena.
It's from Sheriff and Ballymena. I like Ballymena. I've been there, like, you know what I mean? Have you been there, Gary?
I've been
there. Have you been there? We've all been there. Hey, come on. Ballymena. I like it.
That's all he says, Alan Hansen.
And he gets 20,000 quid a show for that.
More than?
You could do that.
Doesn't he get?
Why didn't he let you on give you that money?
That's all he says.
Hey, come on. When I was playing, when you were playing, Gary, when we were playing, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you play for the shirt, didn't you? There's no flow, there's no system, they're all over the place, you look at the fullbacks, you know, it's terrible.
How much does he get for that again?
I don't know, but I want his job.
But see, I think you could do it.
All right.
You've displayed
There's
that.
a man waiting for you.
You've displayed your credentials. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Gerry.
Hey, here we are. Geordie, good morning. Geordie, we had a man on this morning said that he spotted frog spawn unconscionably early. Can you understand, or can you explain?
That is the global warming.
Well, that's sorted.
Oh, the seasons have changed.
The global warming is causing an increase in temperature and a
That is
frog's
quite right.
sack, I suppose is the word. What seems to be the problem?
Well, I've a goose and a gander for sale.
Oh, have you? This is good news.
Free-range organic.
Free-range organic goose and gander.
A goose and a gander.
I must go up and gander.
What?
Go up and gander the goose and gander. Right,
Goose
so...
and a gander. For sale.
I'm starting to wheeze. Do you hear me starting to wheeze? Sorry. Let's take this seriously. You're selling a goose and a gander. What age is the goose and gander, respectively?
They're coming 3-year-old.
That seems unconscionably young.
Free range, organic, and all.
Yes. Why are you selling these at such a... This is a
Well,
sudden...
10 at the minute.
10 geese and 10 ganders?
No,
Or
no.
10 geese and ganders?
No.
What have you got? 10 watts? Hello? Have you got 10... 10 watts have you got?
6 geese.
6 geese and 4 ganders?
Aye.
Well, good. And you feel as if it's a
So
question of...
I'm selling a pair of them.
It's what Hitler used to talk about, Liebersraum. It's a question of Liebersraum. You need more room.
You know, Gerry, it takes about a whole lot to feed all these, you know.
I know. It's a problem throughout the world. People, birth control.
And the times is hard.
They are indeed. And
We're
what
all
kind
not like you know.
What do you feed a goose?
But can you... I'm doing this, all right?
Sorry, I thought...
No, you're away doing the Lord's work.
What do you feed a goose?
What?
What do you feed a goose?
What do I feed it on?
Yes.
Well, they mostly eat grass.
Yes.
But I threw out a lot of old raw potatoes.
Raw potatoes?
Aye.
But...
And man, they can go through an old spud.
Well, this spud in particular that you're talking about, is this cooked first?
No.
No, raw, of course. But I mean, it's very difficult to eat a raw potato.
Well, they can eat it.
They can eat it. Uh-huh. Well, they've got little teeth, don't they?
What?
They've got little teeth. People
They
don't...
have indeed.
They have indeed. I've seen a...
Wee Rusty, he learned his lesson.
Did he?
Oh, why?
You see, a lot of people looking at a goose there would think, what teeth would he have? It's just a beak.
Well, he
teeth
took
in there.
a tear out there again.
There's teeth in there. So did the goose attack?
And by God, they did, Gerry.
Yeah.
They did.
Rusty.
They took a tear and nipped him on his bum. Well, I says, Rusty, that's what you get. You do not mess with the big boys.
You don't mess with the big boys. God forbid he ever meets a swan. He'll probably break his neck.
I know.
What about the other members of your animal kingdom there? Has everybody
They're all
gone
doing
okay?
well, the goats and all, and Henry McCockatail.
Mm-hmm.
He's here in the cage up and down like a yo-yo.
Any servicing going on these days?
What?
Any servicing going on these days in the goat fraternity?
Well, Matilda there.
Mm-hmm.
That was about a month ago.
How much is Matilda charging these days?
Well, I had to put it up, Jack.
Did you? Well, that's handy. Well, she couldn't do that herself, no. No, so tell me this. What is it? If I was going to cover a goose, how much would it? Sorry, I'm losing the plot here. I know I'm. What's the how much is it now?
It's £8 now, Jack.
Much?
£8.
I remember it used to be a £5.
But then there's a guarantee.
You explained this before, but see, I don't understand this guarantee.
Excuse me, what is Matilda?
No
a
kid,
goat?
no fee.
Oh, it's a goat?
It's a goat.
Oh, I didn't know Matilda was a goat.
Oh, I give a guarantee.
£8 for
no
Matilda.
Kid, no fee.
It's no kid, no fee.
But Matilda's a girl.
Yes. Yes.
Is Gerry bringing men in for Matilda?
Yes.
What are you thinking? Bringing in another girl?
What?
What do you think?
What happens? Who owns the kids?
That's a good point, Geordie. In other words, you have Matilda, right?
Yeah.
And a male goat, a nanny goat, is brought in, and you're given £8. And Matilda has the kid. Does a man come and collect it?
They do, yes.
That's how it works, Sean.
Oh,
You should go out more.
Well on his feet and all, you know.
All right then, okay. £8. We see, a man would need to think twice about that. You know, just fiver was all right.
Well, you take a price of a 100 with a corn.
Yes.
It takes the corn to keep the hit on them.
That's right, yeah. Remember the old joke? A fella goes out with a girl for a drink, and she says, "I'm very cold," and she says, "Wait, how come?"
Well, I'm not too bad at £8.
No, that's okay. And guarantee.
Oh, guarantee, no kid, no fee.
Well, so they won't pay you until the kid appears. Is that the way it works?
Yes.
Well, I think that's a good civilised democratic way of animal husbandry.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Geordie. God bless you.
God bless you, my son.
I'll see you later.
Bye now.
Goodbye. You had difficulty with some of that.
Yeah.
See, you don't know the ways of the wild.
I thought
bucolic ways of your
No,
ancestors.
but I thought Gerry had the man goat, whatever you call it. What's a man goat? A billy goat.
I think
George
they
had
find it called a billy goat.
Right.
yeah.
I thought George had billy goats, and Gerry took him around the country, giving the old "How's your father?"
Is your mother still working?
Yeah.
Well, no, it works both ways, as you
So
well
he's
know.
got the gear.
And but how can he guarantee?
That's it. Well, he said unless the
Unless-
kid's produced.
But see, that could be the fault of the goat that's brought. You know what I mean? No, it's like you and me.
Ah, that's right.
No, we can't do it anymore. But sure, what can we do? The best we can. That's all we can do.
Down in West Cal Parish, about 20 miles from Arkansas, lived a man and his wife and 4 or 5 children. The weirdest people I ever saw. Old man Willis, that's what everybody called him. He used to chase his young'uns and his wife with his Jim boy hunting knife.
Tony Joe White again. Old Man Willis.
He had 4 coons, a cat, and a hound dog. He stayed in the same house with him. They ate from his dinner table, drank from his water bucket, slept in the same bed with him. Old man Willis, where do y'all come from? He used to chase his young'uns and his wife with his double-bladed sharp knife. Said she thought the man was crazy. Daddy said it's just a drunk. Lord, and some people said that he made his living making whiskey in the Biff River swamps. Oh man Willis, where do you get your bread? He used to chase his young'uns and his wife with his double-bladed hunting knife. I would see him coming down a dirt road in his 49 Pontiac, just getting it. And Mama would holler, y'all get under the house, 'cause Mr. Willis drive like a maniac. Oh man Willis, why do you drive so bad? He finally called his young'uns and his wife and slayed them with his hunting knife. Lord have mercy.
That's Tony Joe White, Old Man Willis, from an album called the Tony Joe White Collecting 3 CDs.